I think Justin Trudeau has, in fact, surpassed his father in terms of the division and the derision and the anger and the destructive policies and the diminishing of Canada's reputation. I think he's outdone his father in terms of the damage that he has inflicted on Canadians.
So here Alexa for Urban News, and today is the third and last day of the Conservative Convention here in Quebec City at the Centre des Congrès. Today I had the opportunity to speak with former Conservative Party leadership candidate Mr. Peter MacKay. Mr. MacKay also served as the former leader of the now defunct Progressive Conservative Party of Canada. Throughout his career, he held positions as Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister of Defense, Minister of Justice, and Governor General. Today, I was interested in hearing his opinion on the new Minister of Defense, Mr. Bill Blair, as well as the former minister before him, Madame Anita Anand. Mr. Peter MacKay has been involved in politics for many years and has witnessed Canada's political landscape under various governments, including Justin Trudeau's father, Pierre-Elliott Trudeau. Here is the complete interview. My question would be, I want to have you talk about the current National Defense Minister, Mr. Bill Blair. Do you think he's doing enough?
Well, it's early days, of course. I think his predecessor, quite frankly, was doing an admirable job in a difficult portfolio. I mean, I can say that with some experience. It's a big department. It's a national department. There are numerous needs right now within the department, and in particular, recruiting and retention of our soldiers, giving them support, giving them equipment, giving them the incentive to stay and to do this really difficult work, because increasingly we're calling on them domestically. In addition to deployments, in addition to the conflicts that are raging around the world, we've called on them because of severe weather and floods and disasters. And so all of that to say is I remain hopeful that the new minister fully understands that and is going to fight in cabinet for the investments that they need, that they deserve.
What can you say about the Northern National Defense there? I know that the Conservative Party wants to spend more money on protecting the northern side of the nation.
It's absolutely critical, and it was a priority. Visited there many times. In fact, I first started going to the Arctic when I was young, before I got involved in politics. And it's such an important and pristine part of Canada. Prime Minister Harper got that in spades and went up there many times and saw firsthand the challenges. The opening of the waters there is what has increased the vulnerability. And so, yes, the investments are huge. You're absolutely right. But they're critical. And that means, over-the-horizon radar. It means deep water refueling ports. These are all projects that are underway, but they're not advancing quick enough. And we have to do this, of course, in unison through NORAD with our American partners. But I think the discussion is here now, in working even with NATO to protect the Arctic. The Arctic Council is suspended because of Russia. But an important consideration is that Russia are making massive investments on their side of the Arctic Circle. And they're putting in missile installations, they're recapitalizing old bases. We have Arctic Rangers, we have a very small footprint there. In my opinion, in North America, there's no greater priority than building up the infrastructure and the security infrastructure that we need to protect the North. I mean, we saw it even with a Chinese weather balloon, supposedly, surveillance balloon, and how long it took for us to be able to respond. So fighter aircraft, new hangars and runways, the necessary installations that connect through satellites, connect all of the elements of the Canadian forces, and working with our allies. But it's a huge, huge issue.
In this new society where we can actually feel the tension between some of the country, are you concerned about the safety of Canada?
I think the vulnerability is there. I think because we share the North American continent with the Americans, our adversaries would not be so audacious to launch a full frontal attack. We've seen the stealth, the cyber, the undermining that's going on in very, very insidious ways. I think that we are not on the edge of any sort of conflict here, but the Canadian Force task, first and foremost, is to anticipate and to protect, to generate force, and any government has to make that protection of citizens the number one priority.
My other question would be mostly for the Anita Anand. What do you have to say about this?
The decision to move her?
Yeah.
I was disappointed, quite frankly, because as I said, I have great respect for her. I think she was making the case to her own government that these investments were necessary. And frankly, I think she was moved for that reason. Mm-hmm. That's my opinion. Mm-hmm. I have no inside knowledge, of course. And so that knocks everything back. All of the projects and all of the progress that she was making stops. New minister comes in. A department that big takes time to get your arms around, your head around the files. Mm-hmm. And so I think it was very deliberate on the part of Mr. Trudeau to sideline her.
Exactly. I want to have your opinion about the fact that Mr. Trudeau have just decided to shuffle his old cabinet. Do you think that this remove a little bit of credibility of this party?
I do. I think when you have that kind of a wholesale shuffle and dismissal of a number of ministers, the person most responsible for having appointed all of those people is basically saying you didn't do a good job. Mm-hmm. And, I'm moving you. And so therefore, I think that the message that sends to Canadians, if he doesn't have confidence in his own people, why should we? Mm-hmm. And, I think there's growing demand and growing discontent in the country for the direction that this government has led the country, our lack of resources going to market, our high taxes, our punishing carbon tax in particular, and just a prime minister who doesn't come across as serious.
Mm-hmm. And you are in politics since so many years. You saw under Harper government, now you saw Trudeau, and maybe now we will see under Poilievre government.
His father.
And
fact,
his
I
father.
was a kid when my dad was in Parliament, but I think Justin Trudeau has in fact surpassed his father in terms of the division and the derision and the anger and the destructive policies and the diminishing of Canada's reputation. I think he's outdone his father in terms of the damage that he has inflicted on Canadians.
Are you capable to confirm that Trudeau is the worst one that was leading the country so far?
In my lifetime, certainly. That's my opinion only, of course.
We want to continue to fight back and to bring you the other side of the story and to make accountable people in the government who deserve it. Please go over rebelfieldreports.com right now and chip in if you want more like this.